Welcome into the ACC's Mad Monday podcast for the 12th of June 2023. A special shout out to Jared Croker. We hope you enjoyed your 300th game. Get that one into you. My name is Tino Fa'asua Manaiawi. Joined in the commentary booth by Tohu Henwood.
Yep.
Are we sticking with Tohu Henwood?
I'll take Tohu Henwood.
There were a few of them, mate. Welcome in. How did you enjoy the league across the weekend? It was a huge weekend, wasn't it?
Mate, hey, thanks to all our well wishers. I'll just say, of people who are wondering where I've been in and out, I have been out of the comms a bit. I've been doing back and chemo, so you'll see me here and there. But last week I was recovering, watching that game, and wow. You know, people like tries. They like all the good stuff. As a bit of a purist, what I loved was that first half. Because the Raiders came out. They were redlining, man. They were redlining for that 300th game of Croker's.
Yeah.
Papali'i was knocking dudes over at will, making meters at will.
Oh, it was gritty.
But watching the Warriors just muscle up on defense and absorb a whole half of attack and only be within, what was it at halftime? It was about 8 points to 4 or something.
6 or something.
Yeah, 8-6. Like to be within one score at halftime after that. I just thought, actually, we're in this game.
It was an absolute treat to commentate. Here's how it sounded on the weekend. The Warriors defeating the Jared Croker-led Raiders 36-14. 5 inside from the outline as well. Through the hands now. Here they come. Metcalf goes front door. It's Jackson Ford wrapped up, struggles to get to his front. Faking left, going right, out the back door. Sean Johnson goes to the heavens. Is there anyone out there? Yes, there is. It's Stellan Watene-Zelezniak, and he's selling watches to the front row at Geo Stadium. Try time. Chewing up a bit of clock, but that only works in our favour. Here comes Stellan. Rick James, that's a head high if ever I've seen one. That's a head high.
Just not on time off. Foul play, just on.
Foul play. If ever I've seen one.
Time's off.
Oh, a little slap on the way past too. Manaia's doing a bit of admin there about Pies. Rapana absolutely rocked by Mitch Barnett. Look at this. Rapana, who loves giving away a high tackle. Oh, was that slightly high? I hope not. Jackson Ford, Mitch Barnett combining there. A couple of the RPB boys. Oh, wow.
So Mitch is getting called in by the ref. On reported, 10 in the bin. 10 in the bin. So we'll see out the rest of this half with only 12 people on the field. And Webby doesn't look too happy about it. That was incidental contact. They go to Charles Nickel Clockstand. Surely through the hands. Short
flip ball. Oh, yeah. Metcalf. He's been playing.
Someone please needs to make a supercut of Keezy going,
and then his giggle. There's plenty to giggle about in that game. It was just the excitement of that. We were just talking about it before. I've commentated a fair few Super Rugby games this year as well that have been absolute sort of blowouts and quite dead in the last 20 minutes. But the Warriors were just scoring at will. As you mentioned, that first half, very tight. And in the second half, an absolute blowout. Just try after try after try, giving us heaps to hoot and holler about.
I noticed in the press conference they were saying to Tohu and Webby going, hey, we noted that all the journos said we watched you, Sean and Dallin, practicing that kick for just half an hour, just doing that same kick to that same corner, and then he just nailed it. How he landed, and even his hair didn't pull him over.
No.
He was so weighted to fall over the sideline, and he just dabbed it down beautifully.
It was an awkward little put down because he was going out of bounds, but he had to land with his feet first and then put it down. It's just...
Dallin's really stepped up. What I like about him, he can finish amazingly. He's sturdy as under a high ball. And wow, he runs it back.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to an interview with Jared Croker yesterday, and he was saying how sore the Raiders are.
I bet.
Because he said the Warriors boys are running so tough this year.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about that game. I really liked that we had two guys sin-binned.
Yeah. Bit of
because
adversity.
To be honest, also, there was an inch in that being a bone-rattling, amazing shot, or being sent off. They weren't malicious ones.
Oh, no.
And I love the Warriors just playing with a bit of vicious staunchness.
Yeah.
Got to give massive raps to Leotawa.
Leotawa, yeah. Ali.
He had basically a seamless debut for the Warriors.
Yeah.
He just showed up. He made 15 tackles.
He wasn't scared.
He ran just short of 100 metres. He's this centre spot's really interesting because I noticed they've let Pompey go. He leaves at the end of the year. We're not going to renew Vilea, I think.
Yeah, we got Braden Viliami as well.
Oh, sorry. We've got Williami. RTS will be playing in the centres. Tamati Martin's coming back, and we've got 5 halves.
Yep, Chanel Harris-Tavita, Volkman. Where do all of these people fit in? Yeah, there was an interesting story that Ben Hurley put into the chat, or it might have been Adam that put it in there. It's just about all of the different contract machinations at the moment. As you said, we've got a logjam in the halves. We've got too many players, and with Chanel coming back, the odd man out is Ronald Volkman, who, I feel like... So Sean Johnson was supposed to re-sign with another, he's just rejected the Tigers offer. And apparently that what he's waiting on is they need to free up a bit of cap space, but they don't know who that is, which one of those halves they're going to get rid of to free up the cap space to re-sign Sean for another 2 years. And to be honest, it kind of feels like it has to be Volkman. But then by the same token, you can't ask him to leave, he's signed onto a contract.
Yeah, and... it's tough because it feels like Volkman and Metcalf are playing for the same spot.
Yeah, which is behind Tamati Martin, who's just got a broken leg.
It's not even a first-grade spot.
Yeah.
This is what's blowing my mind, though. We beat the Raiders. What meant so much to me for this was it was a top 8 team under adversity away.
Yeah.
We showed we're up to the real deal. We've beaten 2 top 8 teams back-to-back.
Yeah.
But I forgot we've got Tamati Martin coming back.
Yep.
Dylan Walker.
Yep.
Jazz Tavanga.
Of course.
So, and remember how good we were playing with Jazz Tavanga in the middle with Dylan Walker when they would just come on and inject all this and Tohu's ball playing and so forth.
Yeah.
Also, Chance, I was watching someone on Instagram did an amazing breakdown of how Chance is running into the ruck, behind the ruck, and he's just creating a whole nother point of attack.
Yeah.
Wiegand's just doing his little magic.
Yeah.
He always looks like he's about to get dangerously knocked out at any moment, though, old Wiegand.
Yeah, any time he runs the ball might be the last time he runs
Bailey
the ball.
And Bailey Sirenen's another one being let go.
Yes, yeah, he is.
So I take it we're doubling down on Freddie Lussick when he's back as being cover. I must say, I'm really liking Bailey Sirenen on the bench to come on and play 15 minutes at hooker.
Yep.
Because... he also can fit into the centres, the back row.
He's a big body.
Yeah, he's a big body, and he tackles well. He doesn't really make mistakes, and his service at dummy half's pretty good.
Yeah, it's there or thereabouts. But I think, like you say, going back to the Dylan Walker, Jazz Tavanga of it all, I think even Chanel Harris-Tavita, when he's here next year, those 3 off our bench with Bunty, that's a tremendous bench. We're covered across every position. They're impact players who know how to come on and make an impact. So I think those 4 are going to be our bench. It's really, for me, Tamati Martin, I think, has to be in at number 6. RTS in one of the centre spots. I think Montoya in the other centre spot for next year. And then we got Kossi and Dallin Watene-Lesniak on the wings.
I forgot about Kossi.
Yeah, Ed Kossi. Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move the lips. It's just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forgot about Kossi.
Yeah, hey, I'm just going to pull you up on that swearing. I noticed in your call you dropped another F-bomb. You're coming into these comms so hot. I think I got Adam to get a bit of audio here.
Yeah.
Just so cow, the Warriors need that.
Didn't Zach Wilford think he was smart? Now, Elliot Whitehead, the captain, into the fucking line. Tries to take his head off.
It's not even, you weren't even excited.
No, it was like I forgot I was on the commentary. That's how I felt.
That is pub chat. That's when you just, when you're talking and you're sort of rambling a bit and you're trying to spread the sentence out while you think what you're actually trying to say.
Oh, he's in the old days, in the fucking, yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. It was such a waste. I feel like you only get, on the ACC, you're going to get away with one F-bomb, I think, and then the next F-bomb, G-Lane's chewing you out about it. And I've just wasted mine on absolutely nothing. It was just such a throwaway.
Yeah, I remember you had an unsolicited stint in comms.
Yes.
Which cannot be taken.
No.
You were...
Well, if we're handing out slices of blame pie for that one, Dai, you won't go hungry because you were the one that called me into the commentary to join you on that one. But
yeah, look, I'm the one. I put the electrical cable on the wet pavement. So I can't complain that it was thrashing around.
100%. But yeah, I feel so bad for wasting an F-bomb on nothing. I wasn't swearing at someone. It wasn't about anything. It was a first tackle of the set.
It was a real Kiwi placeholder swear. You know, where you're just putting it in there to buy. It was just an
Yeah, it was.
It was a glorified that had a bit of spice on it.
That's exactly what it was. And shout out to the people that texted in, because at the time G Lane was doing a commentary and here he's doing Super Rugby. We were running the two commentaries at the same time, one text machine, and this listener knew that, so they texted in and said, "Hey G Lane, just so you know, Manaia's dropped an F-bomb on the other commentary. You absolute snitch.
So
You dry snitch."
We've got snitches in the midst, eh?
Yeah. I thought that this was a trust bubble here at the... what is rugby league if not a trust bubble? You know, we should all be able to drop
you know, talking about trust,
Yeah.
you know who I trust? Bloody Niokore. He runs so hard.
Yeah.
He does those runs that... Sure, he might not be breaking tackles, but everyone who gets up looks sore.
Oh, bugger that.
And he runs that diagonal line right behind the ruck, so the defender's sort of jumping to one side to tackle him. I'm just blown away.
He's
Our
enormous,
signings,
Yeah.
Webby, the way Webby talks,
Yeah.
we weren't overawed in that. We're going into a bye, then we're going into the Dragons. Technically, that should be 4 points.
Yes.
I mean, I've still got that PTSD vibe of, the Warriors.
Yeah, I know.
But also, we didn't leave the door open once for the Raiders.
No.
They didn't have a flurry of points.
Same with the Dolphins the week before. There was it was a tense, turgid first half, and then the second half, it was just a spanking, an absolute spanking. So now as we look at the table, the Warriors have actually slipped back to 6th, although it's a bit of a... with 2 points down on the Sharks.
And we've got the buys, which we've got 2 buys. Which,
yeah. So if this is an exercise I like to do, I did it this morning on the Daily Agenda podcast, but it's something I like to do at certain points throughout the season is have a look at the table and have a look at the teams above us and think, which of these teams are we better than? And I would have to say, after the Sharks display last night, they're 5th, we're 6th.
We've beaten the Sharks.
We've beaten the Sharks
year.
as well. So you'd have to say that we're better than them.
At Shark Park as well.
Yeah. Like the Storm, the Rabbitohs, they're ahead of us too. I think on our day we could get either of them. But then you look anyone underneath us, Raiders, clearly better than them. Seagulls, I reckon, we'd have. Titans, Dolphins, we just proved. Roosters, who have actually beaten us twice. But then after that, it's the poo-poo platter. I think that we are genuine top 8. You know, this time last year, I think we were hovering around the bottom of the top 8. Now we are not only genuine top 8 contenders, we could be in the top 4. And I was talking to my old man about this last night after about 4 gins and watching the Sharks getting demolished. And he was like, our year doesn't mean we win the competition. Our year means top 4. Our year means a first round playoff win. And so I think for us, like for you, Dai, is that what our year means? Like we don't have to win the whole thing for it to be our year, do we?
As a person who loves the team, I had us finishing 12.
Yeah.
And that was relatively optimistic in some eyes.
Yeah.
A lot of pundits had us at bottom 4.
100%.
And the way we've shown up, for me, to be honest, I was like top 8 is a win. But now I'm like, if we can get in, because we've had one finals game in 11 years.
Yep.
So which is not a good step.
2018 against the Panthers, I think.
Yeah, was it Panthers or West?
I have a memory.
No, it wouldn't have been West. It was
Panthers.
Panthers. It was the Panthers, and they smashed
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Sorry, West. I was thinking that was Simon Mannering's 300th.
But yeah,
so I was like, if we could win one finals game, that is huge.
Yeah.
If we finish top 4, that is huge. Because, as we've been talking about with all this personnel, it's not like our window is closing of an amazing team. Our window's opening. We're only just bedding this team down. Bear in mind, next year, the Warriors enter 3 teams into the NRL.
Yes.
We have our under-16s, our SG ball team come in. So we're going to have a full... junior pathways. It's really looking up for the Warriors. So if you're you're a fan, which you are if you're listening to this, there's a lot to be amped about.
Yeah.
And I think if we can just if we beat the teams we should beat, i.e. the Dragons, if we beat, because our run home is playing a lot of these teams in the bottom half.
Yeah.
We've got a big game. To me, our biggest game in the next month or so is South Sydney at home. If we beat South Sydney at home, this could be them without Latrell as well.
Yep. Cody Walker was out for that game. I don't know if that's going to be a long-term lingering
Souths
injury.
are just a hard team to beat, though.
They can run up massive numbers on you, is the problem.
Because they're one of those teams that do, once they get going, if they're in a mood, like if Cody and Latrell are in their backyard footy mood, where they're just sort of chucking it around. And
it's tough to contend with. But Warriors sitting very pretty. 6 on the table, but as you look at the table, every team outside the top 3 is sitting on 18 points at the moment. So, you could call us 4th, you could call us 7th. As it stands, we're sitting on 6th, and I don't think that top 4 is out of the question.
Talking about Jared Croker's 300th.
Yeah.
How weird is it that the last person to play 300 games was Jason Croker?
Is that right?
Yeah. It was like that. So Jason Croker was the last Raider to play 300 games at one club for the Raiders.
Yeah, right.
Then it was Jared Croker.
Yeah.
That stat that only 6 out of the 18 people who have been one club 300 players have got a win on their 300th.
Is that right?
So
I don't know how much you can read into that.
No. One of them was Simon Mannering.
Yeah. One of my favourite things about Jared Croker's 300th game was, the emotional scenes of him holding his son before the game and, tears weeping, pouring out of his eyes. And then his son got to watch his daddy get smacked by 36 points in front of a packed-out Geo Stadium at Canberra. And I loved that because they rested him. This was arrogant from Ricky Stewart. They rested him the week before because I think not only did they want him to have his 300th at home in Canberra, they thought they were going to beat us. That's why they held him out. They thought, let's have it back here, let's get the win, and we got up and we smacked them. And it was so good to watch.
They got too emotional, which actually I think is what happened to us down in Napier.
Yeah.
We had a very emotional week.
Well, there's a lot of streakers, and they mean a lot to us culturally, streakers.
Yeah. No, they find the loophole, right?
Oh.
Because if you've got clothes on,
you're not a streaker.
No, and if you've got clothes on, you can't be fined. You can't be.
Is that right?
Yeah, you can only be kicked out of the ground. You can only be fined if you're naked. So that's why they're all got clothes on.
Well, they should change. They should reverse that rule to you can only be fined if you run onto the field fully clothed.
Exactly. And if you're naked, you get kicked out of the ground naked.
Yeah, 100%.
You don't get any clothes.
You don't get your clothes back.
You're kicked out of the ground naked.
You don't get a poncho. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. So I think we were all riding very high after 2 convincing back-to-back victories for the Wars. I'm feeling very positive about this, and it's going to be a pretty cruisy next couple of weeks for them. A little bit disappointed they've got the bye this week. That means a little less work for us. But that'll do us for the Warriors chat for today.
Not guilty, Your Honour.
Yeah, what are you getting the ref's room number, mate?
Let's get on to the stonker of the round.
Gamble to Ponga. Just like that, they're away again. Bradman Best is with Ponga. He runs towards Walsh. He runs past Reece Walsh. Man on man, superstar on superstar, and it's Ponga who wins this battle. Here's a chance. Young gets away there from the tackle of Ezra Mann. Runs to Walsh. Back on the inside. Matt Croker. He'll dive in to score. Croker scores for Newcastle. Midfield. They'll play it 10 out. Haas finds Walsh. He goes to Pankura. What a time to score your first try in the NRL. Here's Carrigan. Can they grab perhaps the knockout blow? Hetherington. He's fresh. Offloads for Reynolds. Man is there. He beat Ponga. Back to Reynolds. Oh boy, what a try.
Listen to that crowd.
Reynolds and man. Yes, ma'am.
So that was the stonker of the round. It was the Broncos versus the Knights, and as we heard there, it was almost a game winner there from Ezra Mann back to Reynolds. I think that Reynolds and Mann for this Broncos team are absolutely humming out there.
I was actually thinking, I don't know whether it's just a me thing, but I was like, Ezra Mann's a bit of an underrated dude. Like,
100%.
not underrated, but he's not big in the conversations around the best halves. No. But every time I watch him, he's a nightmare to tackle because he's always making a break.
He's stocky.
He's fast as.
Oh, yeah.
And that combo of Reynolds and Mam, because Reynolds has that... He's one of those old heads who looks like he's always got quite a bit of time to kick deep, or like if he does a little step and jinks through a gap.
Yep.
But him and Mam, I'm starting to really come round to this Brisbane team. I love Selwyn Cobbo.
Yep.
He just plays with a lot of throbber.
Yeah. Oh, he's a throbber.
You got Ricky, I like.
Jordan Ricky, most handsome man in the NRL, some would say.
Yeah, Reece Walsh just standing back there rating himself through the roof, eh? He's got a little ticker. He wears a little ticker with his Supercoach points on his arm. So what he does, he looks down at like 70 minutes and goes, I'm only on 10 Supercoach points. And then boom, 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 he's on 110.
I think that the Broncos kind of made a stonker out of this one when it didn't really need to. Part of it was that Ponga, launched himself back into form. He looked electric. But part of it was what we at the Warriors noticed about Reece Walsh was, yes, he's a superstar on offense. He's a bit of a turnstile on defense, and he can let a few tries through. He got turned inside out by Ponga a few times. I forget the bloke's name, ran straight over the top. Yeah, Dominic Young. Ran straight over the top of him to score as well.
He's a great signing for the Roosters. He's going to be playing there next year. He's fast as.
Yeah, he's a monster as well. He's a bit of a Jason Saab-esque sort of player, but he's a bit stockier, yeah.
He gives me heavy, who was the parkour guy in Tekken? Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie, who'd do all the moves with his little, I think it's the little highlights.
Eddie Gordo.
It's the little highlights at the end of the dreads.
Yeah. Yeah, he's big Eddie Gordo vibes. The way
and also I could see him doing a bit of capoeira,
Yep.
Because he's got long, beautiful limbs. There's a lot of Crokers in the NRL, isn't there?
Too many for my liking.
Matt Croker, Lachlan Croker, Jared Croker.
Yep, too many as far as I'm concerned. We're up there with the Cartors. There's a million of them as well.
Yeah, true. I must say that the Knights would have to be happy with how Jackson Hastings is playing.
Yep.
He's playing good football. I thought that the Knights were going to sneak a win here, which would have been huge at Suncorp. But the Broncos have 3 buys. Still, they haven't had a bye yet, so that's 6 more points.
They've had the most ridiculous schedule. In the first 12 weeks, I think they played 3 games outside of Queensland. So
so it was in the first 10, they played 8 at Suncorp, and then within the first 12, they'd only left Queensland 3 times.
Yeah, because then they were playing against the Dolphins, and then Gold Coast Titans as well.
Suncorp, and it was a Dolphins home game.
Yeah. Oh, that's ridiculous. But
so they're second on the table, but they've played 2 more games than Penrith, who are 1. Right. So they immediately get, and so they're technically 4 points ahead of Penrith.
It's so confusing to me the points for the bye thing, because then like you just said, they haven't had a bye. Penrith have had 1, 2 byes?
Yeah, Penrith have had 2 byes.
So that's an extra 4 points. So they're essentially inflated numbers, really.
Yeah, I'm
not good with math.
I sort of feel that they should just do no points for the bye. So when you look at it, you only get points for games you win, but everyone has the same amount of byes. So
so it evens out by the end of the season.
Yeah, so then, because it's so weird, go, okay, Brisbane are on 22, but they've actually got 6 points that they'll get given.
Yeah.
We're on 18, and we've got 4 points that we'll get given.
Yeah. So if they add another team into the competition, that means fewer bye rounds, right?
Yeah, because at the moment we have, last year there was only 1 bye.
Yeah.
This year there's 3 byes.
Yeah.
So I think it'd go to 2 byes if we bought an even...
Extra one less bye, plus Moses Mbye equals...
No, I can't carry the Mbye.
Yeah, carry Moses over.
You carry Moses, but then the Mbye becomes the Mitchell Moses is the...
to the power of Moses Mbye. I can't do the math on that. But the Bronx, they're riding high. They're sitting pretty. I kind of feel like I said before, this was the stonker of the round, but by virtue of the fact that the Broncos let it become a stonker, it could have easily been them putting the hammer down. But as far as my Supercoach team is concerned, very happy with the Knights' performance, because I got Ponga in there, and he went very, very well.
Was Ponga popping off?
Yeah, Ponga popped off. He got his Pongas out and just flopped them on the table and let everyone know.
I was too scared about Ponga. I thought he was going to take another another little head knock.
I mean, we'll do the Supercoach podcast tomorrow, and it was only, what was it? It was 92 points. Only
92.
That's good. That's
You'd
good
take
numbers.
that in any of these hard buy rounds.
Yeah, 100%. So that's our stalker of the round. Time to get into the rest of the talking points around the competition. Actually, let's start here. State of Origin. We will be doing another viewing party. State of Origin 2 viewing party in Auckland. It's going to be live from Sweatshop Brew Kitchen Wednesday, 21st of June from 9:30pm. That's in Auckland. If you're in or around the area, you can watch the Mad Monday team commentate the second Blues v Maroons game. Live there, as I said, from Sweatshop Brew Kitchen. Text STATE to 3236 to book a table now, and keep an eye on the ACC socials to be able to win a table, some ACC merch, and a $150 food and beverage voucher. That's a hell of a prize. So keep an eye on the socials for that. But if you just want to outright book a table now, you can do so. Text STATE to 3236 and we'll send back all of the info for that. So the teams will be named this week, Dai.
This is basically a decider.
It is.
This
isn't
is
it?
the biggest game of the year for the Blues, so it's going to be a cracker to get at. So get that table at Sweatshop.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Brew Kitchen, then you go, and watch the boys.
Well, this is the thing about State of Origin is it's meant to be watched in a group environment. You need other people out there. It's mate against mate. Show up in your colours, your gang patches. Well, not your actual gang patches.
Don't wear gang.
Leave
gang
the patches. Leave the patches. Leave the actual gang patches at the door. But bring your Maroons.
Just out
Bring
of
your
interest,
Blues. Yeah.
did they do like a Mongrel Mob vs Black Power 3 Series League game out in Te Atatu or something?
The closest I've heard is that on Stewart Island they do a Natives versus Parkhouse rugby game every year. That's because they're still in 1840 down there in Stewart Island.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And the winner gets the local farm.
Yeah.
Of course, and I bet they call them the Natives as well.
I'm pretty sure they do. I think they might play that one barefoot as well.
I was going to say, I bet the Natives always win, but then I was like, I bet there's some rugged honky farmers down that way
Well,
who play some brutal...
Yeah. Are there 30 fighting age males on Stewart Island? I don't know.
Quick Stewart Island story.
Yep.
We were filming down there for a little travel show thing. We went to the bar. There's 4 of us to watch an All Blacks game.
Yeah.
The bartender came up and goes, just so you know, boys, the women are for locals. And we're like, cool, man, but that's sort of their call, isn't it? That's their call. We're like showing wedding rings, going, we're married, man. He goes, yeah, just I know you Auckland types. The women are for locals, and because I've sniffed you Aucklanders out, you're allowed to order once tonight. And we're like, what do you mean? He goes, no, you can order one round tonight for your game.
And that's it?
Yeah.
And then you get... What?
So
I thought he was going to say...
so he ordered 1 dozen beers. He bought over a full box of warm Heineken, unopened, just dropped it in the middle of the table and said, remember what I said about the woman.
So you buffed all 12 and took his wife home.
Yes.
It gets wild down there. That's not mate against mate, but it's certainly state against state. But so Cleary's out. The biggest question going into Origin next week is who are the halves combinations going to be for you?
Which this permutation is then spilling into changing the whole team.
Yeah.
There was a point there where people, okay, so Teddy's out.
Yep.
Well, but who Teddy's shown over the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
He was the best player in a broken Roosters side.
Oh, tremendous.
He went buck wild the week before.
Yep.
Teddy's the captain. He's the fullback.
Yeah.
The issues I do see, Episai Coruscant's out.
Yes, broken jaw.
So that surely means Cook just slides into the team.
You would have to think so. He was electric as well on the weekend.
The talk I've been hearing out of Aussie is that Hines stays at 14 and Mitch Moses goes in and Luai stays there.
I don't mind that, but I just think, and I said this last week as well, is that I feel like Luai's only in there because Cleary's in there. And I think if you take Cleary out, you might as well take Luai out. I think you need a game manager in there at halfback. And I feel like Adam Reynolds, what's he going to do to get a blue jersey?
Also, he trains and plays at Suncorp.
Who?
Adam Reynolds.
Yeah, exactly.
So he knows that ground. He knows it under fever pitch conditions.
Yeah.
He's got an amazing kicking game. So does Moses, though.
He does.
But Mitchell Moses has been it's a real hard one. I actually I am not sold on Luai. Luai hasn't delivered in the big game. He had a great game for Penrith on the weekend, but he hasn't really massively delivered.
I am sold on Luai.
On the big stage.
And I'm selling Luai.
Yeah.
I don't want him in there. I think he's a bit of a grub, and also it doesn't translate into state of origin because it's a game for men. There's going to be big hits, and if you're going to be losing your rag and trying to get in people's faces,
someone giving a tiny little hair pull.
Exactly.
Also, he's the worst kind of grub who only does it when you're massively on top.
Yeah, flat track bully.
Yeah, like it's not like when he'll step up like Warrior Hargraves who'll just walk into a whole forward pack and go them.
It's when one of his props will lay out like the halfback for the other team, and he'll be the first person in their face.
And also, this whole teabag buzz he does when his mates score a try and he jumps up and fully teabags them on the head.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to do someone a serious injury, bro.
Yeah, hopefully himself. So
I really liked going, imagine if it was Reynolds and Cody Walker because they were the Souths combo for years.
Yeah, that would be good.
But then Cody Walker's out. Whether you bring Matt Burton in, no, I don't think that will happen.
Not on this year's form.
I thought it was a real misstep having Hines at 14. I think you either start Hines at halfback
or don't play him at
or
all.
you don't play him because he went into the centres. He was caught out on defence there. That's why you do go with a Burton if you're going to go that option because he can play anywhere in the back line. I reckon they're going to go with Mitchell Moses. They're going to reward his form. It'll be interesting to see how he plays tonight.
Yep.
Against the Dogs.
Oh, that's right, Monday night game. Brilliant.
Yeah, I love a Monday,
Same.
8 p.m. Monday night game, old school.
Yeah, they should make that a regular thing, I think.
Because it's the King's birthday now in Australia.
Oh, is that what it is?
I reckon we've really got to just pick when his birthday is and do it then.
Yeah, 100%.
It's really throwing me because also different parts of Australia do it at different times.
How many birthday celebrations do you need? It's like you're punishing mate who just wants to have a birthday party here. Oh, but this group of friends is different than that group of friends.
There's always someone's missus usually who wants to do a birthday week as well.
Yeah.
You know?
It's too much.
It's too much.
It's going to get too specific if I bring any of those stories out. But
Not guilty, Your Honour.
Yeah, what are you getting the ref's room number, mate?
for me, I think Reynolds and I think Hines at 6. And I think that
I like that.
Yeah, because 6, 7, call them whatever positions you want. I think you have both of those guys out there. I think, Hines played fullback and played excellently at fullback for Melbourne. So I think that kind of player for him, off the back of what Reynolds can do in terms of managing the game, I reckon that's the way to go for New South Wales.
Yeah, no, I thought my only thing with Teddy in the first game, I just thought he overplayed his hand and tried to get too involved, and then he ended up clogging up the attack a bit because no one knew where the ball was going. I love that because you got Reynolds can be a game manager, can knock it round the park. Hines creates the space. He can float a bit more.
Yeah.
And also, so Liam Martin got knocked out.
Yes.
He's out for 11 days.
Right.
So he could only come right just before Origin.
Is that right? Yeah, but that's very Origin of them to be like, yep, he's good to go. And
He's the
playing.
best player.
Oh, he looked
He was the
excellent.
best player for New South Wales.
Yep.
So he's in. It's absolute going to be a stonker. Get down to the Sweatshop Brew Kitchen. You can watch F-bombs in action.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'll be taken off the commentary for that one. I feel like I may be on a stand down for rugby league commentary at the moment. But yeah, as Dai mentioned, if you want to book a table for that at Sweatshop Brew Kitchen in Auckland next Wednesday, 21st of June, text state to 3236. Keep an eye on our socials to be able to win a table, some merch, and $150 food and beverage voucher. Keep your eye out for that one. Let's stay on Nicho Hines, but move on to the Sharks. Absolutely blown out by the Storm last night. That one was it was quite a tough watch, wasn't it?
Oh, mate, as I say, that was a full G-shock, bro. It was a tough watch indeed. It falls into this thing of they say any team beaten by 50 points can't win the comp.
That's right.
And Melbourne took a hiding last week from the Cows, was it? Yeah.
45 points.
A 45-point hiding, and then, wow, they just, every single player clicked in that team.
Yeah.
All their big, you had Jerome Hughes clicked. Munster was on fire.
Munster's always on fire.
Left my scooter at the dairy. Nick Meaney. He's also, if you're talking Supercoach styles, he's the quiet
achiever.
The quiet achiever. They just fired, and Nicho Hines almost looked like he was overplaying his hand in that first 40.
Yeah.
He had 4 back-to-back handling errors, which was so unlike him.
Yeah.
And they start, I mean, I thought it was going to turn into a bit of an arm wrestle when there was that wonderful little Mulatalo flick up for Teague Wilton to score, and I thought, oh, this is going to turn into a game. But then it was just a hiding. And how grim does it look at Amy Park when the seagulls come on?
Yeah.
And it gets dark.
They put a bomb up and about 50 seagulls just scattered from where the bomb landed. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I don't think that... There's been a lot of talk on social media and all the pundits and that about Nicho Hynes. I think it's because of State of Origin coming up and that this is a poor look on him. And he didn't have a great game. But I don't think you can hang that 50 points squarely on him. You know, he's not a defensive player. I just think that they were all at sea. And once the score got away on them, I think they were trying to play catch-up footy and it just blew out a little bit on them. I don't think this is like an indictment on Nicho Hynes.
Yeah, and in the com box, it was just 80 minutes of Flanagan going, back in my day, mate. Back in my day, we played the Melbourne down here and they beat us. Then we spanked them in the final.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that you can read too far into that. But yeah, so for me, I don't know. Is this the Storm rounding back into form, do you think? Because they've been a bit shaky this season.
The Storm are never out of form. After that hiding to the Cowboys, Bellamy would have just gone into a dark room with a big pail and nose kai for 2 days and just worked himself into a frenzy. Then unleashed on them all week. Their training would have been insane.
Yeah, it would have been.
Bellamy, there's a famous story of Bellamy training a team so hard and him training with them that he got delirious with heat stroke, took all his clothes off and walked into the bush.
I've heard this.
And just ran into the bush and all the support staff had to chase him because he just puts the hammer down.
He's gone troppo.
You go full troppo and you basically, Melbourne very rarely put 2 back-to-back bad performances on, especially when they're at home. And this was a bit of a round for some blowouts.
Yeah.
It's been a tight comp so far, but Manly blew out the Dolphins 58-18. And the Dolphins' sort of dream run of resilience seems to be falling apart a little bit.
Yeah, they're missing a lot of dudes, the Dolphins, but still 58 to what had been an underperforming Sea Eagles this year as well. That's a monster blowout.
And then there was a game, Dragons Souths, that almost blew out, but Souths went full comeback style and almost almost scored like 30 points in the last 7 minutes.
Yeah, so this was the one on the Saturday, and we were standing in the office here just watching it. In the last 10 minutes, we were just like, holy shit, they scored like, I think 3 tries within about 4 minutes to come back, and then it looked like they were going to fully come back, then a knock on. But
no, they scored 3 tries in 2 minutes. They scored in the 77th, the 78th, and the 79th.
It was ridiculous. You want to talk about a team taking their foot off the neck? That was the Dragons there, but squeaked that win in there. They really undid themselves a little bit, the Dragons there, because I think they would have been riding high on that victory had they not conceded those 3 late tries. Now all of a sudden they would have been getting chewed out after a victory, which is not what you want.
And the poor old Roosters.
Yeah.
I've got a soft spot for the Roosters, but they got pumped by Penrith.
Yeah, 30-6.
The only shining light was JWH trying to go ones up in the car park, mate.
1 outs on Spencer Leniu.
With Spencer Leniu, who's going to the Roosters next year.
Oh, is that right?
Spencer Leniu and Dominic Young are their signings.
Oh, my God.
And he was full, you want to go in the car park, mate?
It was full crazy eyes from Leniu as well.
I was like, wow, those are the eyes of a dude you don't want hunting you down.
Yeah, 100%. It was even Etzebeth from the South African team. Yeah. It was that kind of thing.
He had the full extra wide eyes as well.
Full pukana eyes.
But then also I'm like, JWH is the last dude you want to fight.
No, I think...
Because he just wades in by himself into a full forward pack.
He runs towards the trouble.
Yeah.
He runs towards the danger.
And then after that... And then with a sort of limp, slightly raised elbow, he was knocking dudes down left, right and centre.
Yeah. So Tino was the other one who did that. The Titans versus the West Tigers. And as we mentioned before, Uppy's going to be out with a broken jaw. I think suspected broken jaw. I don't know if that's been confirmed or not.
Well, it's bad. They've confirmed it's bad enough that he's out. I think it's either a fracture or a break. So he's not going to be playing Origin.
And so do you think Tino's escaped any sort of punishment, hasn't he?
Yeah, I felt a bit hard for Tino because it was being compared directly to Reid Marnie last week, which happened, and they're two smaller dudes.
Yep.
Tino does run with his arm up. It didn't feel cocked like he threw it.
It was more of a bunt sort of situation.
And also it's both Reid Marnie and Appy were going in very much with the Reece Walsh koala style tackle where you go front on trying to clutch.
The Wade Egan.
Yeah, the Wigan where you're going to get knocked out every day. So, no, I think that was fair for Tino and to escape punishment there. It looks like, I think, what is it, Niokore is just getting a week?
Yes, I hope so. Well,
or 2 weeks. I think Barnett just got a fine.
Oh, great.
Or the other way around. I'm not that sure. But
they were pretty nothing, both those.
Yeah, as I was
yellow cards.
saying before, it was just, there was inches in it.
Yeah.
I thought the Niokore one was maybe a bit more full on. But then that's because Niokore just is so hard out.
He plays a million miles an hour. So the blowouts are starting to creep back into the league. Knock on wood, we don't fall on the wrong side of one in the coming weeks. Well, that'll do us for the talking points from the round. It's time now for Dai to come off the back fence.
Oh, a long kickoff. The offload to Henwood, and he's off the back fence. Boom time.
Yeah, get your alphabet out and get your Bic lighter out and start burning letters because there's only 3 letters you need in your life. C-N-K. Woo! Chance with a Z, Nickel Klukster. Oh, he's an absolute legend. Sure, we got rid of the pretty boy, the beautiful eyes, the mascaraed eyebrows, the high cheekbones, the beautiful poussey of Reece Walsh. But boom, we got the staunchness of Chance Nickel Klukstad. He always hits over 200 metres. He's safe under the high ball. He takes those runs out of trouble that you never want to take. He's angling behind the ruck. He's stepping. He's scoring tries. He's a talisman at the back. He's always got a smile on his face. Are you a kid? G'day. I'll shake your hand. I'll give you a smile. Why? Because I'm Chance Nickel Klukstad. Oh, ain't got enough money for your cappuccino. Here you go. There's $5.50. I'll shout to your coffee, son, because I'm Chance Nickel Klukstad. He's an absolute legend. You know, he's the traveller pie in the quiver of snacks. He's the pie that you just fit in your hand and you want to put all of his meat inside your mouth. That took a turn, that metaphor, very quickly. But yeah, I'd suck him off. Anyway, back to what I was saying about Chance Nickel Klukstad. He is the man that has turned this side around. He is wearing the number 1, and he is the number 1. He is the guiding light. He is the staunch, solid brick of whatever you want to call it, granite, sure. You even want a grey wacky that's a bit more malleable, but you still love in an engineering way, yes, you can call him grey wacky. Chance Nickel Klukstad is the man that we need to lead us forward. He is the man who has shown, even when RTS comes back into the side, he'll be playing fullback. Keep your eyes on this man, because he is a Warriors legend, and he's going to go down in history as a rugby league legend.
Woo! Oh, stirring. Send that audio through to 4 and 20 Pies. They're going to love that. Hell of a shout out. We're not going to get to the TAB Game Day Good Punt today because the odds aren't out for the next round because there's still a game to play tonight. But that'll do us for the podcast today. I am full to the rim with mana after that. Coming off the back fence. Thank you very much for your time today, Dai Henwood. We'll see you guys later on. Enjoy the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with Supercoach and our Game Day Good Punt. Hooroo.
And Australia without rugby league is not Australia. And Australia without is not Australia.